everybody? Welcome to another edition of Box Seats. Let me cut my light on. Didn't realize my light wasn't on. Let me bring in my man Talent. This is the show we talk about sports with comedians. T, what's going on, bro? How you doing, sir?
Fantastic, brother. You know me, man. Baltimore's going great, Frank. One show down last night. Great crowd. Didn't expect a super duper crowd like that. He bought half my merch already. I'm almost out.
Really?
I got 4 more shows. I ain't gonna make it.
Wow. You better send somebody, baby, like, yo, come get me some more so I can get some of this rocking and rolling. You know what I mean?
Nah, which sometimes less is more. You want to leave them wanting. I want to get some of them online sales too. I make more money.
Yeah, for the payment and shipping, right? Shipping and handling.
Yeah.
All right, so we waiting for some of the guys to come in. While we wait, let me bring in some of the story because we could talk about a lot of stuff. So let's talk about this first thing up first, man. Remember the story we talked about before, T? It was the Texas men's basketball coach, Chris Beard, and he slapped his wife, supposedly, and his wife ended up recently saying that, no, he didn't slap me, he didn't shoot me, everything else. Well, Mike Sean is in the building. Let me bring up Mike, too. Mike Sean, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
What's good, fella? Sorry I'm late. Running around, running these streets.
I understand. So, see, I guess the thing is this with Chris Beard, the main reason why I'm bringing this up is because he's still facing felony domestic violence charges, even though his wife dropped the charges and wife said he didn't do it. And then yesterday, Texas fired him. So he got fired for something that his wife said he didn't do. He said he didn't do, but because she pressed charges, he got fired yesterday and everything else. So tell me your thoughts about Texas stepping up and firing Coach Chris Beard because he's still facing the felony domestic violence charge and the district attorney's not dropping the charges. Just not.
Well, I mean, too little, too late. We see this happen a lot in criminal courts where you have a domestic thing happens, and then they make up or tempers calm down. They go, officer, you know what? I want to drop the charges. And the states say, man, you called us, we done came out, used resources, we gonna pick the charges up and keep going. So this is what it looks like is going on with him. It's like no matter that she came and said, you know what, it didn't happen. I want to do it. Once you, this is why I tell people all the time, when you get the authorities involved, be ready for what that actually means. It's not for you to play with. Some people play with the law. This is taxpayers' money. This is resource being deployed and stuff like that. Once they come out, bro, they don't like to play them games because now you're playing with something that we put in place for real, saviorship. We're trying to save people and help people, and you think you could call and then change your mind after you peed the beer out. You want to no. So this is what's happening with this.
Yeah, I think so too. I think people are misunderstanding, Mike, the difference between civil charges and criminal charges. Once the police come, it's criminal. It's not civil anymore. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. What's your take on this, Mike? Now that Texas stepped up and fired Coach Chris Beard.
All I can do is say exactly what Talon said. People play with these law enforcement all the time. And remember, when you beat one case, you got to beat 2 cases now. Because once the state decides they're going to pick it up, they can pick it up. If they're in the mood to pick it up, they can go get it. And the fact of the matter is Texas right now can say that the state still has a case against you, so they can fire him and probably not catch any repercussions from it. Now, if I'm him, I'm getting a lawyer right now, and I'm going to lawyer up because if I actually beat this case against the state, which he should, since they don't have a witness, then you got to sue the university. Now, do other universities like hiring coaches that successfully sued their last employee? Probably not. But that's something that should have been thought about before, the wife picked up the phone and made this phone call. Yeah. Now, I don't know how toxic their relationship is. Maybe Texas had a few other experiences with this couple getting into it. I don't know. But it's all bad now, and it's going to, trust me, I've been in similar situations like this, and it takes a long time to get through that journey.
Yeah, it's definitely a slippery slope. There's no doubt about that one. So in other news, T, Carlos Carrera is now sitting there saying to the Mets, okay, well, if you ain't going to finalize this deal, even though I got back issues, I'm talking to other teams. So it became official yesterday that Carlos Carrera didn't sign and is not going to sign with the Mets, even though he had a monster contract and everything else. I don't know if this is a threatening ploy with the Mets or anything else, but him and his agent are officially talking to other teams, and he can talk to other teams and sign with other teams because the Mets didn't finalize the deal. What's your take on Carlos Carrera talking to other teams, Steve?
I mean, when people make that announcement, you kind of play yourself. I mean, he has every right in the world to do what he want to do and talk to who he want to talk to. But when you make it an announcement to me, see, I'm a business dude, and business dudes play poker every day with business. You know, you're back and forth. You want this, I want that, whatever. When people make an announcement like that, you kind of play yourself. You kind of put a miniature broadcasting out on desperate ship, if you will. Like, just be quiet and just talk to other teams. Like, it's okay if they're dragging an offer and you feel like y'all playing or whatever, just go handle your business. And when you find that team that you come to a deal with, you sign and you keep it moving. But the announcement part is suspect.
Yeah, it kind of seems like that they're trying to force them to sign Mike, right? You know, that's the way I look at it, Mike. It kind of seems like it's a tactical ploy to make the Mets finalize the deal. How are you looking at it, Mike?
I'm looking at it as I've never seen an injured guy with more confidence and cockiness in my life. I've never seen damaged goods be this cocky. Like, I'm taking my damaged goods on the road, buddy. Somebody's going to pick up. Somebody's picking up these damaged goods. Yes, my back hurts all the time, but somebody's going to pay me this. I have never heard of this. If somebody has heard of this before, I've never seen a guy go to two teams that said, your back, something's wrong with your back, and we can't pay you what you want. And he said, cool, I'm going to go to some other sucker. Because that's what he's saying. What he's saying is, I'm going to scam somebody else to get this paper, knowing that the day I go on the injured reserve list, the fans are going to go crazy on the team, going like, why'd you even sign him? He told you he was hurt. Right. I've never seen this before, dog. I've never, ever seen it. But that's amazing. I see why he made it as an athlete, because his confidence in himself is through the roof. Like, I need that confidence.
He's talking 10 years plus, 300 million plus. You know what I mean? He ain't. Let's not forget that either. 10, 11 years, 300 million, 325. That's the neighborhood he's in. And the Mets said that they were going to do that. So let's not forget about that either. And everything that both of y'all said is 100%. Here's another thing I wanted to talk about, something else, man. This week, I was talking about Jim Harbaugh. You missed a little bit of the conversation yesterday, because I was hypothesizing that Jim Harbaugh can land on a certain amount of teams, because Jim Harbaugh put it out there that he potentially wants to be in the head coaching position with the NFL again. Because Jim Harbaugh, in case you guys are sitting at home not watching, understand, you're watching Box Seats, the sports comedy show. Jim Harbaugh is the coach of the NCAA's one of the best programs in the business. It's Michigan. They went to 6 bowl games though, and they lost 6 straight. Now, word came out this morning, T, that the Michigan football program is under NCAA investigation for rules violations, including Jim Harbaugh and how he done some stuff. So since that's coming out, according to Yahoo Sports, they're getting ready to. The NCAA is prepared to draft a list of all allegations and deliver it to the school, and start a 90-day window period in the case before the official notice is given that will affect leading into the next upcoming season. Which makes sense on why Jim Harbaugh wants out now, bro. What's your take on Jim Harbaugh trying to get to the NFL before the heat hits?
It's hilarious. Investigate me. I'm out of this thing.
I'm out.
Come penalize me in the NFL, baby. I'm gone. First of all, 6 bowl games and 6 losses. You need to play on the plate. You don't deserve a bowl. You ever go to a restaurant and you go, what's the soup of the day? Let me get that. And they go, cup of bowl.
That is so stupid.
Right? You don't deserve a bowl, bro. You went to 6 bowls and you couldn't get 1 spoonful out of that. You should order the cup.
Yeah,
no, but he running, it makes all the sense in the world. But I always say that, though. When you see people hop around like this, these are those technical loopholes that keep them working. They're very smart. There's no accidental infringement. There's no such thing. When people infringe, they know they're infringing. Some people do it, and they've sat down and already worked out and guesstimated how long before they catch up to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I watch legal teams do that all the time. Like, you know what? Let's just take it to court. It's going to take 3 years before they could blah blah blah. Perfect example. There was there's still a comedy club in New York, but it's called the Broadway Comedy Club now. When it opened years ago, they just opened up and called themselves the New York Improv. straight infringement on the real impact. And the funny thing, because I know the lawyer was like, man, I told him don't do it. And they asked me, well, if they did it and get sued, how long would the case drag out? I said about 3 to 4 years. They said, great. We get to use this name for 4 years, let people know where we at, and then we'll change the name. We could. By the time we pay them, we made the money to pay them. So I believe Jim Harbaugh is this kind of thing. Like, he's known the time was running out. Because I don't know if you paid attention the last couple of weeks. He's been doing a lot of airtime.
Right. Yeah.
He's been doing a lot of, and that's kind of like soliciting. He's been soliciting himself to the league, like, hey, I want to come back to the league. I think I'm ready, back, blah, blah, blah. And that's all because you're running, because now we found out the investigation. You know what you're doing, dog. And that's the injustice of the system. And who gets burnt at the end of the day other than the students and the ball players?
100%. I mean, you hit the nail right on the head, especially the part when you're soliciting yourself out to the NFL head coach, and you're in talks with teams like the Panthers and possibly the Saints and all this other stuff, and you're trying to take away some storm news from Sean Payton. But Michigan's under fire, Mike. What's your take on Jim Harbaugh? It's looking like he's running for Michigan, and he might possibly get fired or whatever. But what's your take on this?
Oh, I'm kind of contradicting myself now. I thought the baseball player had the most confidence in the world. Like, Jim Harbaugh is like under investigation, and he's over there soliciting his work to other NFL teams. There's the crookedness about it. The NFL ain't even going to blink about hiring this guy, even though he's got an investigation going on in college. Like, they don't care at all. And this dude doesn't care either. Pete Carroll did the same exact thing with USC. Yeah. He bounced out of there when he knew everything was falling apart. Now, somebody got to make some type of rule that you just can't bounce out. Like, they're not, but somebody has to make some type of rule that I can't light the house on fire and just dip out and leave everybody else in the fire and be like, I'm out of here. Like, this is absurd, but he's going to get a job. Right. And another thing that's absurd about his credentials. This man's never won a Super Bowl. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's never won a national championship. Like, he just did really good. And for some reason, if you do really good, and to all my shout to all my black people, if you do really good and you're white, you get paid a lot of money at the end of the day. Like this guy, nobody says he's a choke artist. Nobody says he doesn't come through in the big game. Nobody says they just say, hey, how much money can we pay you? And when do you want to become the Denver Bronco head coach? There's no words on his past. None.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, Mike, you think he's going to be Denver Broncos head coach?
I'm Denver, probably throw a big check at him to get him over there, and I think he'll take it. Like, yeah. I wouldn't, if I'm the Carolina Panthers, I think they're on the right path right now. Why would you bring all this heat on you by bringing Harbaugh in there? I don't know. I just think Denver is going to try and make up for every mess up that they did last year, and they got too much pressure with their fan base to try and change things. Yeah, Denver, New Orleans, there's a couple of teams out there that would definitely take him. You know what I mean? We have to definitely revisit that again. Okay, the next thing we got to talk about, everybody been talking about Demar Hamlin all week and everything else, but yesterday and actually this morning, the latest update, Demar Hamlin is up, awake. He got tubes out of his lungs. He's coming back. He's flexing on his team. He FaceTimed his team, everything else, especially this morning. And the team's galvanized. And side note, I think since the team's galvanized, they're going to probably kill the Patriots this week and knock them out the playoffs. You know what I mean? I'd have been great if he had woke up on Monday and did all that on Monday. But, oh my God.
That's a terrible thing to say.
That's terrible to say.
Here's the funny thing. Y'all missing the funniest part of this that I found the most humorous. Like, he can't talk because my son went through the same thing. Once you start trying to get him breathe on his own, take him to it, all this is sore. You can't even use your vocal cords. So they gave him a pen and a paper. This dude's so gangster. The first thing he wrote was, "Who won?" Yeah. Dude, you were on the stairways to heaven. Yeah. Give me a pen. Who won? Won. We stopped all sports for you, bro. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I'm glad that he's, there communicating, holding hands with the family and all that good stuff. I agree. This should be, anyway, a boost for the team. A big heavy weight off their shoulders. Like, you know how people are, we're going to galvanize, we're going to win for them, man. But number 3, why don't you see a lot of cleats and sneakers with number 3 on?
Yeah, definitely. I'll say this. I'm very happy that he's awake. I'm very happy that that boy is playing. I'm very happy he's alive because I ain't gonna lie, Mike, at the time, I thought he died on the field, even though he really technically kind of did.
Oh, he did die.
Yeah, he did die twice. But he's back, Mike. So what's your take, Mike? The galvanization of the Bills, how do you think it's going to affect the Bills players facing this upcoming game, this upcoming week, and moving on through the playoffs?
I don't know if it's going to – I mean, it could galvanize them. They could also be mentally exhausted from everything they've been through. So I honestly don't know. I think Frank is just putting the preface the game so the Patriots have an excuse to lose. Like, who could possibly beat him? I mean, the guy came back to life. There's no way we could. It was a miracle. Like, a miracle happened. It was God's plan. Like,
you're right.
That's all he's trying to do right now. We don't kill Belichick. But I will say,
kill him.
I said it yesterday. Don't ever doubt the power of prayer, and don't ever doubt the power of positive energy being sent up in the universe. Not to be corny, but I really believe in that, and I've seen it happen in my own life. The one thing I will say is when you're through a situation like that, Demar came out and he let everybody know what was important to him. He wanted to know if they won the game. Like, he wrote down, did we win? Now, in my life, I'd write down, tell me y'all didn't give my girl my cell phone. Like, that would be the first thing I would write down. Tell me.
That would be the first thing you write.
That'd be the first thing I write. Tell me. Because my best friend is Jay Black. I'm like, Jay, tell me you got my cell phone. The last thing I need is to come back to life and have my life ruined all over again.
Hey, Mike, you come out of that and find out she got the cell phone. You try to put yourself back in Cartier. Come on, man, Derek. Come on. Where you at? You call that player that hit you. Hey, are you available? You got my phone.
No. How about once you find out, you make believe you back in a coma. You just go right back.
Matter of fact, I'm doing that for the duration of the relationship. Who is this? Who is this?
Why are you looking for the tube? You trying to put the tube back in your mouth. You no, this is
you at home. You ain't got the real tube. You got a cell phone charger cord. I'm like, give me my charger. Who is this?
Oh, y'all stupid.
I agree with you, Mike. You got a hell of a point. The man died twice. And all he thinking about is, where my phone?
That was funny. That's funny. You know why it's funny? Because it's very true. That's very true.
You know why it's funny? Because you know black women. That woman had his cell phone and leaned over him on that hospital bed. When he came through, it's like, hey, baby, it look at me. As soon as you looked at it, open it up with the eyeball. Women ain't nothing, man.
They ain't nothing. He talking about who won the game. She in his ear talking about who is Teresa.
Before I pull this plug.
Before I pull this plug on your ass.
He wrote on the paper who won. Teresa Jenkins.
Teresa Jenkins.
Because she apparently had somebody else's man in her house.
Oh man, y'all are on one today. Okay. All right,
God bless. It was a miracle. This is what we do. You're back, homie. So we're gonna make you
laugh.
Thank God. Thank God.
So now the NFL officially put out an announcement yesterday that they officially canceled the game. So, and they also officially said that if possible, if the Bills or Bengals end up making it to the title game, it will be played on a neutral site, and that's how they're going to handle it. I guess we've had time to talk about it for the last 3 or 4 games and everything else of different scenarios. Now the NFL T made an announcement officially on what they're gonna do, what their thoughts are. How are you feeling about this right now, T? Where you at?
Well, I think it's cool. I'm cool with it because the contingency part of it. If they just said screw it and try to,
aren't you a Bills fan?
Yeah, but I mean the contingency part of it, because we're still waiting to see who make it to where, and to be fair, nobody's going to have home field advantage. I like that as a constellation. Again, we got to realize, man, I can't be hard on the league because this is a first in modern day. It happened before But in modern day football, this is a first. So all the people and the players that are a part in this, no one has been here before. It happened a very long time ago where a guy died on the field, and none of the same parts are there. None of the same players are there. So we got to look at this like a first for these people that's running the league, people that's part of the league, especially the teams. It took for the humanity, let's keep in mind, it took for the humanity of the players to tell the people above them, like, we're not finishing this game, bro. Like, do you understand we're human and we just saw something that's crazy, incredible to us, sad, incredible, so many emotions just going through. I can't concentrate on getting 2 feet in bounds and trying to sack the quarterback and run trick plays. Dude, we're gone. We're emotionally exhausted at this point. We're going to use all the little energy we got left and pray. So I understand they finagling got to come up with the best thing that they can, because even though we all had scenarios we came up with early in the week, I know they're looking at it like it's still going to have some sort of implication and going in the opposite direction, and they don't want to be a part of it. You guys got the record you got. We kind of see the projection of things, give or take one of the little things that we could fix in the end. Let's move on.
Okay, that's one way of looking at it. I thought you were going to say something different since you're a Bills fan, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, because I believe that the Bills are, no matter what's going on, they're going to go where what's due them is due them. It's theirs. I still believe it's theirs to lose. Mm-hmm. Bills are in the driver's seat. It's theirs to lose. Between them and Chiefs, everybody else is kind of just trying to get that Cinderella story and upset one of these guys. But those are the guys.
Okay. Mike, what's your take on this, bro? The NFL officially canceled the game, and the AFC Championship game could be played on a neutral site.
If they're in it. This is what I can't disagree with anything Talon said, because, like we said, it's uncharted territory. But let me just tell y'all something about the NFL sneaky asses. If this neutral site AFC Championship turns out to be a super money grab and success, and it really turns into something crazy, and they look and they say, wow, we really made a gang of money, we might be looking at the NFC and AFC Championship being in neutral spots where cities have to bid for it. I'm just putting this out there.
Right.
They make a gang of money, and they start to say, well, what if we make the cities have to actually, just like the NCAA does when they send their tournament out to different cities, what if we just have cities bid for the actual AFC and NFC championship games, and then we almost make it like mini Super Bowls? That was just something that I thought about, that could happen. And next thing you know, you got people taking road trips to the NFC and AFC championship game in Miami or Tampa Bay or wherever it's going to be. But I think they have no choice but to do it. I think that whatever they do, I agree with. Nothing's going to be perfect. But I just thought that scenario was kind of interesting to me, that if this were to be a huge success, don't think the NFL wouldn't think about somehow doing it again.
That is interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even think of it like that. I mean, at first I was going to say no way, but now I think about it, because it could be a huge money grab, because the fans of each team are still going to be in the stadium regardless. You know what I mean? So, yeah, because they're going to travel. All right, T, here's what's up for Saturday. Well, Saturday, the Jags and Titans are playing for the AFC South title. You know what I mean? And the Jags and the Titans both have a lot to lose, because both the Jags are coming up and the Titans are faltering in the last couple of years. What's your take on the Jags-Titans game this Saturday, and who do you think wins the game?
I'm going to go with the Titans as the winner, and for the reason of, that they hit a slump, and I'm banking that slump is coming to an end right now because of the playoffs is right next door. So I think they're going to come out of that slump, and the Jags are going to be a victim, of them coming back into the Titans we've seen halfway through the season before they start hitting that slump. And here's the thing: if you're a betting man, why not go with the Titans? They're giving them, depending on who you're betting with, they're giving them 6 to 8 points.
Wow, I didn't even know you knew the point spread like that already. I should have asked you what the point spread was first.
Well, I got all the spreads, bro.
Yeah, okay. I'm not mad at that. I almost did something.
That was for Mike. That Mike would have came right in and got it. Pause.
I was about to say pause, but I was gonna let Mike do it.
Mike is the pause police. You think I'm not watching myself?
No, I did. I used up a lot of pauses today this morning on my show, and I'm sorry. I was a little lax on I don't know what happened to me on that. Go ahead, Frank.
I guess the thing I want to ask you though, like, is where you were looking at the Jags versus the Titans. They're playing on Saturday. Big game for the AFC South title. What's your thoughts on the Jags versus the Titans, and where you see the teams moving out?
I think Jaguars win pretty easy. I think they Joshua Dobbs had an okay game, his first start of the season for the Titans, but he's not a quarterback that I can rely on. Trevor Lawrence, I think, is about to step his game up and start being perceived as one of elite quarterbacks. He's going to be one of those guys, and I think this is going to be the first step to it. I don't think they're going to make a Super Bowl run, but I think they're going to win, and they're going to win. They're going to win a round in the playoffs, and Trevor Lawrence is finally catching his groove, and he's becoming the player that everybody thought he was going to be. I don't even think Derrick Henry's right now. I don't think the Titans really have a shot to win this game.
I think the Titans missed their window, bro. I'll be honest with you. I think that window they had was a year ago, 2 years ago, especially 2 years ago when they lost to Baltimore. I think they missed their window because they didn't get themselves a good QB. So Derrick Henry might have to, when he re-sign, might have to go somewhere else. All right, let's look at the other big game of the weekend. It's the Giants versus the Eagles. Obviously, the Giants are playing to stay in the playoff contention, even though I think they're locked in already. But the Eagles are bringing in Jalen Hurts because the Eagles are playing to try to lock in the number one spot and to get that bye week. So they said Jalen Hurts is going to play. If you're looking at this game, T, what's your take on Giants versus the Eagles? Who you think is going to win?
Well, I really don't care.
Why? That's you a Giants fan.
No, I'm Jets first. But here's the thing. They got the nerve to be giving the Giants 14 points.
Oh, really?
Giants, the Giant pick on my sheets this week is probably, along with the Chargers, is my for sure pick. If I had to pick one or two sure picks, I'm picking the Chargers, and I'm going with the Giants. 14 points? Are you crazy? That's a rival division game that is always decided pretty closely. You got random blowouts that happen within the NFC East, and I don't think they blowing nobody. I think this game is going to be a good game. And I think the Giants have more than a chance to come out prevail as the winner. So I'm going with the Giants, bro.
Okay, you're going with the Giants. I'm going to go with the Eagles. I'm gonna put it out there. I think I'm going to go with the Eagles. I think the Eagles got this. But you, Mike, what's your thoughts on the Giants playing the Eagles? The Eagles got to lock up the number one spot to get the top seed and have all games go through Philly. They got to. If they don't, they're in trouble. What's your take, Mike?
If dreams come true, boy. Let me tell you something, how great it would be for the Giants to be the reason the Eagles go from the number one seed and have home field advantage to a wild card team and have to win 2 road games to get to the Super Bowl. Let me tell you how amazing that would be. It would be so amazing that the Philadelphia Eagles, the announcers out here on sports radio are saying the Giants aren't going to play their starters because they're going to rest them for the playoffs. The playoffs. I say play all the starters. We're not making no playoff run, son. Listen, we already did what we had to do. Let's knock these guys down to a wild card. Play your starters. I don't care. Let's make it happen. And the Eagle fans are sitting here thinking that a guy with a sprained shoulder who you sat out for 3 weeks is going to come back and scramble the same way and run those RPOs the same way he did before the sprained shoulder. Man, this would be amazing. This would be such a typical Philly story. This would be something I don't care about the Super Bowl. I would just be able to get on stage at comedy clubs like the Punchline and do 10 minutes and do 10 minutes on the sadness that Philadelphia would have if that ever, because they wouldn't even want to go to the playoffs. There are Philly fans right now who say if we are the wild card, we might as well not even go to the playoffs. That's how fast they will desert this team, and they've already deserted them. It would be beautiful. And Talon is right. If you're giving the Giants 14 points, you have no choice but to bet a little bit of money on that.
A little bit of money. Just a little bit of money. Just a little bit of money.
I don't care if it's lunch money. I don't care what it is. It's a little bit of gas money, whatever, man.
All day.
I don't know if you guys heard this, but Jadeveon Clowney from the Cleveland Browns was sent home this morning before practice and is not going to play in the season finale in Pittsburgh after he made critical comments against the team. According to Clowney, he said, let's get an interview. He didn't feel appreciated, and he was 95% sure he wasn't coming back for a 3rd season. Clowney also said the Browns are giving Pro Bowl defensive end Myles Garrett preferential treatment, and they're focused on only getting him to the Hall of Fame. The coach ended up sending him home this morning and said he's not going to play. and he said he ain't coming back anyway. So how are you looking at Jadeveon Clowney being out? Because honestly, I thought Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett was going to be two of the reasons why the Browns was going to make a good playoff run next year. But if Jadeveon Clowney's out and it's just Myles Garrett, that lowers their chances, in my opinion. But
I don't think so. I think that, I hate to say it, but I just like Pittsburgh right now is so beatable. So you don't need an 8-cylinder to beat Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is going on about 4 or 5 cylinders.
No,
so
but I'm talking about next year when you got Deshaun Watson.
Oh, yeah, well, coming back next year, see, we can't really talk about next year because there's so many things you can do in the offseason.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So it's hard to look at next year. But I mean, like right now, they're a beatable team. Like when you look at a car, a lot of people don't know this. I'm going to give you a fun fact, and some people are going to learn this. When you break down, you're going to remember this. If your car won't start and you have more than a 6-cylinder, you know you can't jumpstart that with a 6-cylinder. You have to match the power. So I've seen people do this all the time. And I got to ask them because they're sitting out there and they revving and they got the jumper cables on and they can't wonder why it's not turning over. And I go, well, how many cylinders is your car? Like, it's a big truck, 8. And how many you got? 4. Take your ass home. 4 can help 8. So the Pittsburgh is like that to me. But again, in their defense and in the Browns, in the offseason, we already know there's a lot of people on the block this year. This is one of them years where you got a slew of quarterbacks and other positions that's going to be in the block. And all the people, I hope, and we got Tomlin over there on the Pittsburgh side. He knows hopefully how to plug in the holes of the players that he needs on the team. So anything's up in the air and possible during the offseason.
Yeah, 100%. But Mike, David Clowney being out and being sent home this morning and everything else going to have any ripple effect on the team, do you think, Mike? Or do you think the team probably doesn't even care?
What ripple effect? What, they still going to be bad? What's the effect? Like, go home. Like, go. Like, listen, when a team sends you home and you think you're valuable and they just say, go home, like, get out of here, like, go. Like, it just shows you where the season is. Like, you picked the wrong time to try and stand up for whatever issues you got. Like, you would have been better off just playing the game, getting a few extra sacks, padding them stats, and going on and figuring out what you're going to do next year. All right. So you go. You're out. They're going to move on. Cleveland ain't going to try and, you know, for lack of a better term, they're not going to try and massage the relationship between you and the front office. They're
boy.
go get on out of here. So I don't get some of these athletes sometimes. I don't get, maybe he's got enough money in the bank where he can afford not to give a damn. And somebody will pick him up next year. It won't be a long-term contract, but somebody will pick him up.
Yeah, maybe he joins a Super Bowl, potential team next year and finally gets a Super Bowl ring because, he's from that long chain of Houston, you know what I mean? Being on the Houston Texans and losing every year. So,
and when you get mad for a team showing some favoritism to a guy that could be in the Hall of Fame, you just defeated your own argument. You're not going to the Hall of Fame, so they should show favoritism to the guy that could go to the Hall of Fame. If he's better than you, what are you arguing about?
Yeah, and Myles Garrett is better than him, so I don't understand the problem. It's not like it's an issue. Myles Garrett's a lot better than him. All right, here's the next thing up, man. Before we move into the NBA,
next thing in the streets, I didn't say any of that. I did. That was all Frank Holder, who was located somewhere in the Boston area.
I did. Baltimore Ravens are not counting out Lamar Jackson for the playoffs. His thing is the Baltimore Ravens are playing the Bengals this Sunday. Baltimore is in a position whereas they're sitting there saying, well, Lamar could come back if we make it to the playoff, and should we play him? If you're Lamar Jackson and you sat out all this time, do you play or do you stay? What do you do, T?
I wouldn't play. You had the idea of betting on yourself. You did it. Here we are at the end of the season. In the last few games, let's say the last 4 or 5 weeks, definitely has proven your worth to the team at this point. Now it's really up to the team how they want to move forward. Why even in this game? I don't see it. You know what I mean? If you're well enough to play, and you was going into the playoffs to be one thing, but right now, this could be imagine that you get to the very last week, you bet on yourself, and it's pretty much working. Even though you get the injury, it pretty much worked for you. And then you go that last game and mess it all up. I wouldn't play.
Okay, he wouldn't play. And let's not forget, y'all, Lamar Jackson's in a playoff. I mean, in a pay me situation, looking for that contract. What's your take, Mike? Would you, if you're Lamar Jackson, would you play, or would you sit there and stay at home?
It's a weird circumstance because before I killed the Baltimore Ravens, I gotta say Baltimore can have like turmoil during a whole season and still wind up with 10 wins. Like my Giants don't do that. Like when there's turmoil in Giant Stadium, it's like 4 wins, 5 wins. Somehow Baltimore can manage to make the playoffs without their MVP quarterback. That's amazing. That's amazing to me, and I got to give him credit for that. Now, what I got to kill him for is now you put yourself in a situation where you may be losing Lamar Jackson right in front of your face right now. He might be so disgusted with the situation, and if he decides not to play and he's healthy, he's telling you to your face, you can either give me this $200 million, $240 million, $251 million, $1 million more than Deshaun Watson, or I'm going to be gone. And that could be disastrous for the Ravens. I don't know if they can survive an entire season looking for another quarterback to replace Lamar Jackson, but it's a weird dynamic that's going on in Baltimore right now. I almost feel like Lamar's kind of telling us without telling us, I'm going to get out of here, and somebody's going to pay me this money, but it's not going to be Baltimore.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, let's look at the next topic, which, T, you missed yesterday. I want to talk about, obviously, the Boston Celtics because everybody was dogging them yesterday. They had to bounce back. But something came up this morning, man, about LeBron James. And we were talking about yesterday some potential trade talks because yesterday, T, LeBron is being now mentioned in trade talks. And we were speculating on the potential of the trade talks of where he could go. But now this morning, I hear that some whispers, obviously these NBA boards saying that not only is LeBron trade talks heating up, they're saying that LeBron is the one who's put out the word that he wants to be traded, which is what we didn't know yesterday. So that's the whispers going on in the NBA, and I believe them. You know what I mean? Do you believe that LeBron is sending out whispers that he wants to be traded and he's trying to get out of LA?
Absolutely, it's believable. LeBron, keep in mind, LeBron started all this stuff, man. LeBron's going to try to go to Boston Celtics.
No.
He said Boston. Damn.
Boston.
LeBron is going to sit back and demand the top 3 teams who are closest to getting the chip and go add his talents and take it over the hump. Let's face it, man. LeBron is, as much as I love LeBron and what he's done to the game, what he's meant to the game in his 20 seasons, he has been known to be a crabbaby and a sore loser. So this is a bad look where the Lakers are right now for LeBron James. And it's bad overall for the league because the face of the league is on a so-called stacked team that can't get consistency going and get a good winning season under the belt. They're struggling. Night to night, they're struggling. One minute you believe in Westbrook, next minute he's at the end of the bench. You know, one night Schroeder is getting $50 a game. The next night he leaves the orange dye out of the partnership. It's all they don't know what to do with
the orange dye.
You take that little, the little dye you go on the little hook part. Sometimes you take that out because of how he's feeling. Schroeder is the one of the very few consistents on the team, him and LeBron, but they're still not getting the results that they want. So I can see him easily putting that out there. And then sometimes, Frank, come on. How many times have we seen top players cry wolf?
Yeah, that's true too.
Sometimes it's just attention. It's just like, I'm not getting enough attention in the right way. I want to be traded. So now you get the organization to move a little different, put a little flame under it. But no. What do you need? What can we do? How can we make this right? Sometimes it's just that.
Okay. Mike, now that you hear that the LeBron James trade talks are heating up, you feel any different than you did yesterday? Because yesterday I think you and I were both hypothesizing he could land in Cleveland. What's your take?
Well, I said it yesterday. I said if the Lakers trade LeBron, it's because LeBron lit this fire. Right. This is because LeBron doesn't want. Listen, I will repeat what I said yesterday. I'm the biggest LeBron fan. That doesn't mean LeBron doesn't become annoying. He does. He does become annoying because he tries to play this game with the media where he doesn't want to take the heat anymore. After that, I'm taking my talents to Miami. He never wants to take that heat ever again. And leaving the Lakers it's a media frenzy because people are going to say you failed even though he won a championship. They're still going to say he failed. So I don't get this whole thing of them trading him now when I say LeBron could join a team next year. But I knew there was something going on when he did that press conference, when he did a whole soliloquy on when he said, I just can't come play basketball just to play basketball. Like I come to play basketball to win championships. Well, we know you're not winning a championship in LA this year. So that was the hint of all hints. Like, all right, let's get it moving. Get me to Cleveland. And if Cleveland is dumb enough to trade their assets for a guy they can pick up in the offseason next year, they get what they deserve. And LeBron, if you go to another team and you don't win a chip, I can't defend you anymore. If you go to another team and you fail, you are stacking the chips against you. If you want to play this GOAT game, stay in LA. Top Kareem's all-time scoring record, be top 10 in assists. But if you go to another team and you don't win a championship, the barbershop is going to be on fire saying Jordan would have done that, Jordan would have done this, Jordan. And I'm not defending you. I'm just getting my shape up and I'm walking out quietly. That's all
I'm proud of you, Mike.
That's it.
That's how you grow up in real time on the air.
Yep.
Mike just straight grew up in front of him. I'm not defending you. I give my shape up and we're going.
Yep. And I'm gonna tell you how great Steph Curry is from here on out.
All right, in other news, man, the Memphis Grizzlies now heating up, man. T. The Memphis Grizzlies defeated the Magic last night, and they quietly won 5 straight. You know what I mean? And people are sitting there saying, well, maybe what Ja Morant said about not being scared about anybody coming out the West, maybe that's true because they're starting to go on this roll. You know what I mean? Any thoughts about Memphis heating up? Because it seems like Josh finding the groove. The rest of the boys finding the groove. What's your take on Memphis?
Well, I mean, you know, they're going to do – we got Memphis up in our top, 3 or 4 coming out the conference. However, Ja got to stop having these little get-togethers at the house.
He
does. I don't care how many in a row you got. That's going to derail something. Stop having these little young people at the house and catching these little charges because how many times have we seen it, Frank? Somebody get on the roll, and then you take that one piece out and change everything up, discombobulate the matchups, and now somebody else is on their way to the conference finals where you should be there. I'm glad they're on the roll. I want them to stay on the roll because it's a change of guards we're witnessing. And I love it. Just same way I love, our usual suspects doing what they do. I love those dudes pushing the envelope. I love those young boys pushing their way into the new era and saying, we here to stay. We doing our thing. Look at Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. He done scored so many points. They done put him under investigation.
Yeah, they did. They did. Mike, what's your take on this, man? The Memphis Grizzlies heating up at the right time, right now, right before the All-Star break, 3 weeks out for actually 5 weeks out for All-Star break. What's your take?
Well, they're going to be there at the end. They're going to be fighting with somebody for the Western Conference Finals. And I realize Ja Morant is the king, the greatest all-time almost dunker ever. He has some of the greatest almost dunks that I've ever seen in my life. Like, this dude will jump over Kevin Love, and the only thing he didn't do was finish the dunk. Like, he's a daredevil. He'll try anything. Like, he doesn't finish the dunk. They're going to be there. He's young. He's got a whole young squad around him, and they have all the weapons to try and win a championship. It just annoys me because he has the prettiest dreads I've ever seen in my life, and I don't think dreads are supposed to be that pretty. Like, they're supposed to be sloppy. They're supposed to be batty and nappy. Like, Bob Marley has to be rolling over in his grave seeing that pretty ass dreadlock. Just go back to town. Go.
Hey, sidebar real fast. So, Wednesday night I was at the Garden.
Yeah.
Sitting on the floor, taking in the whole thing, right? Why did I get lucky enough to be sitting next to Jerry Cooney?
Jerry Cooney be out.
Jerry Cooney was the last great white hope in boxing.
That Jerry Cooney.
Yes.
The real Jerry Cooney. Like, I didn't know he was 6'6" like myself, but to sit next to him and talking over, because I was only in this space one time with him, one of the John Stocks thing, but I was working, so I didn't get a chance to officially meet him. But he was. I don't know. People, boxing fans know that when that I call it the juicy era of heavyweight boxing. When that was starting to go on and get at its peak, he was the last white hope. They sacrificed him against some heavyweights that I was like, enough is enough.
Yeah.
Stop hitting Jerry. Very great guy. Just wanted to shout him out on the show. And like we talked, what made me think of it is talking about this dude's hair, because I don't know what Julius Randle is doing with his hair. I don't know who can walk around and live a life like that.
Well, what is
dude, what are you doing? You ain't seen his hair?
Nah.
He got about you could, if you cut it off, you can make 3 vulture nests. Like his joint is mad. Like I'm with Mike. Like it's supposed to be a certain way, but his joint is mad crazy, bro. Tracy Chapman.
Oh, you got the Tracy
Chapman in the NBA right now. But great game. But I just wanted to shout out Cooney because he still looks good. He got his faculties. He walking.
Yeah, that's what
he walking. Yeah, he be out.
Where were your seats at? Where were your seats at?
I was on the floor. You ever watch a game and see where Dolan sit? Right there.
Oh, okay. You
right
big
there. I ran into Tracy Morgan. Shout out to Tracy Morgan. But Tracy Morgan was talking ahead of him. So I was so grateful that my seat was far from Tracy Morgan. Love him to death. He talked all over my dinner. I mean, Tracy's crazy. I said, "How's the wife?" Man, fuck that. Do you ever ask a question and it's the wrong question for that day?
Yeah.
I didn't know they broke up.
Yo, one time I interviewed Tracy Morgan and he did a Michael Jackson bit, and I don't know if I told the story. I thought it was funny and I was laughing. And
right.
He said, yo, Mike Shaw, let me talk to you for a second. I was like, let me talk to Tracy. Let's see what's going on. He proceeded to do the entire Michael Jackson bit that he had written, and it was just me and him in a room. Do you know how much pressure it was to laugh at everything?
I know. You feel that. You feel that, bro. And the funniest thing I've ever, first of all, when Tracy sings, it's hilarious. The funniest thing he's ever did, we was at Madison Square Garden, and he goes into a Sade song, Your Love Is King.
Oh.
And I'm talking about he really trying to hit these notes. He's not playing. He's not making fun of it. He's in Patti LaBelle mode for sure. No. And like Mike said, I'm over there in tears. He laying on the floor. He pounding the floor like Usher. Your love is king. I said, dude, you are the last OG.
You are the last.
I would have gave him this face. I'd have gave him this face.
Shout out to Tracy.
I'd have gave him a straight face. I'd have gave him a straight face and purposely tried not to laugh. That's what I'd have done.
No, don't do that because then he's gonna go harder.
Oh no!
Laugh so it comes to him.
I made a mistake and made a suggestion. I said, you should add this. That was another hour.
Oh man.
That's my guy though, man. We had to get that.
All right, so the Celtics played the Dallas Mavericks last night. Dallas Mavericks, and they won every game since December 19th. My question to you, T, is: do you think since Dallas lost and Luka ended up getting on the bench after the third quarter and they was getting blown out, do you think that hurt his MVP chances? Because the announcer said last night that it won't hurt his MVP chances at all. I was like, oh, okay. So what's your take?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think. Here's my thing, man. How could we say a game or two can hurt the MVP? It's so much more season left. If Luka can just stay the course, he's looking good for MVP. He just got to stay the course. He's already been doing it the right thing. Yeah, everybody's gonna have these dips. That's just basketball. We don't know what it is. It could be a fatigue day. It could be a mental exhaustion. You could just be, out of it that day for whatever reason, family stuff going on. So they're human. So you get human error along the way, for whatever reason. Listen, his bad day, Frank, is still 20-plus points.
Yeah, it is all up on you. I just want to take a quick shout out. The Texas VP of Legal Affairs, Jim Davis, is saying Beard's behavior makes him unfit to keep the job. He's on SportsCenter Live talking about Chris Beard, the coach who got fired. It definitely did other things, and we talked about that earlier. I want to shout that out real fast. Mike, what's your take on Luka for his MVP run? You think this loss last night hurt his game, hurt his chances?
No, it just hurt TV ratings. Like the NBA TV ratings were horrible. Like I have never seen back-to-back games be such blowouts and so uncompetitive. Like his MVP things, he's gonna be one of the MVPs top. He's gonna be a top 3 MVP. But these numbers are so bloated now. I mean, you got Giannis averaging 40 points for 4 straight games and 15 and 20 rebounds and all this stuff. You got Donovan Mitchell scoring 70 points. You got Klay Thompson going over 54 points. Luka did his 60-point triple-double. This ain't got nothing to do with the MVP. But I tell you what, when a team starts getting blown out in the NBA, they tap out. And it gets a little ridiculous because you know they wasn't neither one of those teams. Denver and who did Denver blow out last night? The Clippers.
Yeah.
They had the Clippers down by 28 points in the second quarter. I'm like, oh, if I'm TNT, I'm like, this is what you giving us now? Like, I went to sleep early. Like, I was good. I
was watching the game and I cut it off when they got down by 25. I was like, this game is over.
They said if this keeps going on like this, the games are going to be on Comedy Central.
All right, lastly, let's get this in real fast, man. Kyrie Irving is leading the All-Star voting for the guard coming out the East and everything else. And some people are upset that Kyrie, and all the Kyrie Irving issues and everything else. Some people are upset that Kyrie Irving is going to represent whether it's the East or however they're doing it, but he's going to represent one team as the All-Star voting for the guard, starting guard too. What's your take on this with Kyrie Irving? What's your take on this?
Whoever these people are, he kissed the back of my ass. And I mean that with affection. You know why? Because we're so hypocritical. When we charge something to you for, we deem you did something wrong. We charge it to you. We ask for all this stuff, these apologies, retribution, da-da-da-da. And the person does all of that, turns it all around, comes back to the second or third chance, and starts to do what you claim you want him to do. Shut up and dribble. And he's doing it at a high rate. And then he starts to get rewarded for what he's doing at the high rate. Now you got a problem. I think that's the most hypocritical part of us, of what we do as fans. Whoever these people are, you're not making any sense. When people go to jail, we don't want them to go to jail just to go to jail. We're hoping at the end of the day, at worst case scenario, and with the exception of the rule of people that got life and everything, we hoping you get rehabilitated.
Yeah.
To reinsert yourself as a productive member of our society. Is that not what's going on right now?
It's not, but you're right. You're right. It's not, but you're right. Mike, what's your take on Kyrie Irving and disrupting the status quo and people being upset? For this All-Star thing.
All this is exhausting, man. Like you mad? You mad because he ain't take the damn vaccination? Well, guess what? He never caught it. So maybe we should have asked him what he was doing. Maybe we should ask his advice on what methods he took that he didn't catch it. And everybody who including me, I took the shot. I took the vaccination. Maybe we should have asked for advice. Maybe Stephen A. should have asked him for advice instead of killing him. And maybe he wouldn't have had that COVID scare himself. But bottom line is, I don't get what you want him to do now. I don't know what you want him to do anymore. But you want to make everything political. These are the same idiots. And I just want to say this quickly to every idiot who went on social media and tried to go at T. Higgins and tried to make that man feel bad for a hit that he didn't even make. All he did was play football and he got hit. These are the same idiots that now want to go at Kyrie Irving because he's getting votes from people he doesn't even know.
Right.
What do you want him to do if strangers believe that he's one of the best players in the NBA? He has nothing to do with this. Like I realize why Kyrie don't talk. If I was Kyrie, I wouldn't talk to anybody. I would just play basketball. I wouldn't talk to anybody anymore.
Yeah, that's what I would
do. I'm gonna tell you what I would do. I'd go a step further. I would dunk on somebody wearing a yarmulke. There's nothing wrong with that. I make a statement like a mug.
You sure would. All right, so we get ready to roll up out of here, T. You got to talk to me more about Baltimore, man. And please take some pictures.
We're definitely taking pictures. Again, stupendous first show. You know how it is when you do these clubs and you start your weekend. Actually, most of us headliners, we frown on Thursdays now, and we try to start on Friday because we'd rather a Sunday than a Thursday because we know the momentum will make Sunday a decent crowd. So coming in, we're not expecting much on Thursday. Man, when I tell you, we had a great amount of people come out last night in the crowd, and I'm talking about ready to laugh. It was pouring down raining last night out here. And we ripped through this thing. Shout out to my girl, Ray Diva, doing a guest spot this weekend in Alabama, comedian in Alabama who's hosting here. I mean, the show just don't stop. It's non-stop banging, and people will be really surprised about that level. We're going to get them to Boston, Frank. Trust me, I got
you. That's my man. Mike, talk to me. Tell me about what you got going on.
I'm setting y'all up. The taping for the TV show actually happens January 19th through January 22nd for the CW 33, if I could talk, in the DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth area. We start the taping. That's the first show. That'll air the first weekend in February, so I'll keep y'all updated on that. Then the show starting February 11th. I start the spot in New Jersey where I'm going to start having comedians come down here. We start that February 11th, and February starts a massive run of just shows. So we back at it. The Redeem Team Comedy Tour is what I'm on right now. So just follow me on Instagram and just don't look at me at the bar. Don't look. If you at the bar, you stay at the bar. Don't try and call me over to the bar. Don't call me over. Don't point at the bartender, then point at me. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just leave me alone. I'm not being antisocial. I'm just minding my business. That's what I'm doing. That's all I'm doing.
I don't invite me because I'm going to bring some infused now laters.
I'm clapping for you, Mike. Give you strength, bro. Give you strength, bro. Here it is. Give you strength. Yo, the show's called Box Seats. We're on the Humor Mill channel. We're going to be on again tonight at 7 and 11 and repeat broadcast. Be back Monday. We're going to review all the NFL games, give you guys the update of the NBA games, trade talk, all that. Until then, thank you all for watching. Be safe. Please, it's the weekend. Be safe. And that's Talent. That's Mike. Everybody else will be back on Monday. Y'all have a good weekend. We'll see y'all. Thank you.